Hey, I want to thank you for checking out my video today. My name is Jonathan, and if this is your first time checking out my broadcast or my videos, a little bit about me and my channel. I'm 39 years old. I'm married, and we have 4 children together. And I've been overweight my whole life. I've tried a lot of diets over the years, and I've had success with like losing weight. Like I can stick to a plan, and I can lose weight for a while, but a lot of times I find it hard to sustain myself on the way I was eating, um and to lose the weight the way I was eating to lose the weight. And so I was never able to really kind of get any lasting progress, or any progress that I had made I was unable to keep maintain. And so that's why I developed this channel and this challenge with, two main goals in mind. The first one is that I need to stick to it for longer than I've ever stuck to anything. I need to focus on it and make it a priority for longer than I ever have before. In the past, a lot of times I would lose weight for an event, or I might set a goal to lose 100 pounds, but when I would hit that goal, then everything would kind of just go to the wayside, or I'd start slowly going back to the way I was eating before. And usually it got worse. And so this time I wanted to, be different. And I knew that it was about changing for the rest of my life. But if I commit to 3 years, if I focus on it for 3 years, it gives me an opportunity to lose the weight I want to lose, and then also to hopefully have some time to maintain that weight loss, or to live as somebody at that weight. Uh, the other big goal is that I want to lose a lot of weight. In the past, I've had goals, like I've said, to lose 100 pounds, or to lose till this event happens. And a lot of times I would succeed at my initial goals, or I would succeed at some of my goals and get to what was a much better weight than I had started at. But it still wasn't there yet. I mean, even like right now, I started at 520 pounds. I've lost 200 plus pounds, which is amazing and is just incredible, but I'm still 315 pounds. So I still have 100 plus pounds of excess body fat that I can get rid of. And while I'm very proud of where I'm at right now, I also know that I can't become complacent, and I can't let my old habits start to sneak back in and affect my health. Um, so far, like I said, I've lost over 200 pounds. We are just under 2 weeks away from my 1 year mark, which I'm amazed. This at this point, this is longer than I've ever stuck to any diet plan or any program, and I'm incredibly happy that I've done so well so far. And I'm looking forward to what the next 2 years brings me. So, if anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear about your guys' non-scale victories. If you have any questions or comments, want to talk about anything particular, throw it in the questions, the comments here. Even if you're not watching this live, if you ask, if you're watching it later or tomorrow, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and then I can answer them on a future broadcast, or I may even answer in the reply, depending on what the question is. So, but I hope everybody had a good evening since yesterday. I know not a whole lot goes on in my world other than kind of continuing to make sure the little kids stay alive and go to work. Carrie's checking in saying hi. Hi, Carrie. I hope everything's going great today at home with you and the kids. Uh, Yesterday after the stream, I was very excited because we had the ingredients to make the avocado toast that I've been enjoying, the with the pico de gallo, the mango pico de gallo. Uh, and So it has been it was really nice to get home and have that. I'm trying to think of what we even had for dinner last night. Spanish rice and beans, which was great. We got the kids to eat it. They did complain later in the day about being hungry, but uh they did eat what kind of was put in front of them. I think Carrie had reheated some of the mega veggie chili that we had left over, and one of our kids even tried that. I'm not sure if that went over or not, but the Spanish rice was great. I think Carrie had mentioned that she was out of something to spice it up, and she actually added a pinch of some sort of seasoning that she has. I'm not sure what it is. I didn't actually add any seasoning to it, and I enjoyed it a ton. Um, and it's a heavy dish. Like a lot of times, or not a lot of times, but many times, I'll have seconds of things, and something like that is uh it's like I said, it's just kind of heavier. It's very filling. Our bowls aren't really that small either, so it's not like I'm taking a small portion still. But Carrie said that two kids liked the mega veggie chili that she reheated, which is great because that's one of our regulars. Again, I don't know what we had for spice in that. That's always been a concern of ours of whether or not because if they don't like something, they just say it's too spicy sometimes. So it's hard to know if something is actually too spicy or if it is actually, if it's not too spicy and it's just that they don't like it. But yeah, it's good. We're, slowly trying to get them to eat more of the foods that we eat. It'll make things easier on Carrie. And overall, I think it'll be good for them to get those foods, or to eat what we eat. We also had a little bit different breakfast this morning because we didn't have all of the steel cut oats that we normally, or we didn't have enough steel cut oats to make our normal amount of oatmeal. And so Carrie had I I want to say she substituted, I think it's rolled oats, but I'm not sure what it is. Essentially, it was almost the steel cut oats, just not cut. So whatever they're made of. And it was interesting to have that and be listening to Gregor's book. And like, there's in this last hour of the book, or the last 2 hours, there's a lot of ticks, tips and tricks and things you can do to help boost your weight loss. And they talk about the difference between eating something more in its whole form versus it being milled down to like a powder or to a much um, finer grain, and that eating it the way that we ate it was it is going to be more filling. Your body is going to take it as a more filling thing. I'm not exactly sure but behind the science of all of it, but um, I think it has to do with surface area and absorbability and things like that. Um, so it makes sense that this morning I had the same number or the same amount of oats that I normally eat, but I was feeling fuller earlier. Like I had something like I almost like I had finished most of the bowl, and then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna finish this. And I had got distracted, did a couple things, and was like, yeah, I could probably finish it just to finish it. It was only a spoonful left, and I was just gonna throw it away anyways. But it was still noticeable. And like I said, to have that happen and then listen in the book to have kind of him say the exact same thing is that you eat oats that are not cut or milled finely, then your body gets fuller faster. He also there was an interesting experiment they did like with cereals and stuff that um, they did a study where they had people that had eaten, I think, oats or oatmeal compared to people that had like cornflakes, like frosted cornflakes, and then compared to people who just had water. And they measured what they ate for lunch, a few hours later. And the people that had the regular oatmeal ate less calories at lunch than the people who ate the frosted cereal for breakfast. But where the crazy comparison comes in is when you compare the people that had the frosted cereal for breakfast with the people who didn't have anything, who just had water, and the people with the frosted breakfast cereal ate just the same amount as the people who just had water. It was like their body didn't even register that it was food. Um, and it's just crazy, you know. And it's those things that kind of make a difference on the whole, like just one meal where you eat a cereal and your lunch is the same size as skipping breakfast is fine. But when you make it every day of the week, if you have frosted whatever cereal, sugary cereal every morning, then every day at lunch, you're eating more calories than if you would have had the same amount of calories in oatmeal that morning. Um, and even if it's like I said, even if it's only 10 calories or 20 calories over the course of 10 days, that's 100 calories over the course, like it adds up. And so Carrie says that's wild. Yeah, I mean it's there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, the book is filled with all kinds of studies where he talks about different things of like that, similar to that. And I think I'm down sub 2 hours. I might even be less than an hour. Let me see. I am less than an hour. I got 50 minutes left in the book. So I'm getting towards the end. I'm really liking the end of it, actually. I thought, I'd be bored of it, and um I'm not. I mean, it's still good material, it's still good information. It's probably as good information at the end as it was in the middle, as far as overall knowledge, you know. But yeah, and then I guess yeah, I've been listening to the book. Been good. We had, let's see. So tomorrow we kind of have this weird, I don't know. Not I guess not really a dilemma, but it's kind of like what are we gonna do? Because uh I have really kind of taken or really want to, you know, the whole food plant based is very important. The diet is very important to me. Um, and then there's this whole kind of uh yeah, I can talk about that in a minute. The uh there's the diet, and I'm doing it for my health. 100% the reason why I eat this diet's for my health, but it's also a vegan diet. And so we I've kind of dove more into veganism kind of things, and they're really starting to influence my decisions and how I feel about things. I've gotten rid of my down comforter, and I use a different, a comforter that doesn't use animal feathers or product. And like as I replace things, like with I'm gonna get a new phone cover. I'm gonna replace it with um a phone cover that doesn't have leather on it. Like my current phone cover has leather on it right now. Um, oh, how funny! Yeah, I can try to pull that up if we'll see. Um, the and so it's been something that's been kind of part of, or I'm starting to see that side of things different than I used to see them. And I guess where it comes in is that there is a push to try to spread veganism as a culture or as um, a way of life or way of eating. And locally here, that there's going to be a festival tomorrow that's a vegan festival, or it's um, I don't know if they call it vegan. Now that I think about it, they might call it a uh a whole food plant, or was it not whole food? They didn't say whole food, but they did say plant-based junk food festival or something like that. It's I'll have to maybe see, because it's kind of a weird thing, because you have to be careful when you use the word veganism, because people care about it differently, or they think about differently. And so, let me see what they do call it. They call it a plant-based junk food, and it says all vegan menu. So it does say all vegan menu. But um the uh they're having this event in town tomorrow, and I want to support the culture in our community to kind of help, I guess, like what I was talking to Carrie, the best that we like, if at the very least us arriving there puts two more people in that crowd, then somebody else in that crowd might be thinking about whether or not they should start a vegan restaurant or start a plant-based restaurant. And if they see that there's a lot of people there, that it might kind of influence them to do that. The downside of it is that we also have our kids that we would want to bring with us, but I don't think anything's going to be cheap. Like, I think all the food's going to be fairly expensive, and so I don't mind maybe, me and Carrie each getting something and splitting it. But if we take all the kids down there and all of us order something and we don't like it, it's going to be a lot of money spent on food that we don't like. I'm not so sure what we're going to do. I definitely want to go and check it out, whether we eat or not, uh, but like I said, I don't know what it's going to be like. It's just going to be for a few hours. It's kind of when, um, right when I do my stream. So I might do my stream tomorrow and then go do that, right after I get done streaming. So I wouldn't really have an update about anything until after the stream tomorrow anyways. Carrie said, you think the movie, yeah, it is going from city to city. The organization is called Future Foods. It's the future of foods, but it's with a V. So it's the word future, but it's Vuture foods. Uh, it looks like they kind of just set up kind of a tent. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything too fancy. It's not like there's going to be a bunch of food vendors there. The thing that is nice is that if this were a bust, the place that I had gotten all of my Foz Feast meals from are that right down the block, like 2 blocks away from here. And so we would be able to just go down the street and eat at the other place in town that is vegan. And so, yeah, Carrie says, not just that people, like, even if there's like somebody who owns a restaurant, that just adds more plant-based options by seeing that there's a demand or seeing that there's people down there. I doubt there's any type of news coverage of it, but I was trying to find this so that I could say I was interested in going. But yeah, that's our hope, is to go to that tomorrow afternoon, support the community in our area, maybe find some people that we didn't know were vegans. Maybe, you know, uh, maybe I'll run into somebody I recognize, which would be crazy. Which would be cool, because really, when I think about like people in my life that eat a plant-based diet, I have, other than my wife, my brother eats a vegan diet, but he's not plant-based. He eats kind of anything that's just not animal products. Um, and then we have one parent friend that eats a plant-based diet with no oil. And I have one high school friend that I know that doesn't live around here. He lives a couple hours away, that has been eating a vegan diet. That he was a really good friend of mine in high school, and he's reached out to me since I've started this, actually, and asked me about how things were going. Um and so we don't know anybody that's vegan. I mean, I there's some people on that bike ride that I do that are probably vegan that I don't know it. But it's not anything that's ever come up. So it'll be neat to go down there and, like I said, see who's down there. Maybe other people will kind of be talking about other options of places to get vegan food from. I know we tried that pizza place that was really good, and they're pretty active in the vegan community. I think they were even trying to start more of a Facebook page for vegan restaurants in the Quad Cities, or options for vegan foods in the Quad Cities. So that's what we're looking forward to tomorrow. Um, Carrie did mention, and I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, but we did go for a walk yesterday. Uh, it was talked about during stream that it was very nice outside, and it would be nice to go for a walk. So I got home, I pounded down a bowl of the Spanish rice and beans. Um, I don't know if this is gonna come up. There you go. So yeah, there's a picture of us on our walk there. That's me and the 4 kids and one of our 2 dogs. Our other dog probably would have died on the walk. But because he's an older fella. But it was nice to get out to the park. We kind of had to rush to get out the door because of when sunset was going to be. This picture doesn't really explain much as far as location of everything, but to our right is the park that the kids played at. My daughter's leg is not on upside down. Like it does face the right direction normally. I'm not sure what's going on in this photo, but it does look like it's on backwards. But the it was like a city block, and we're actually going down a pretty steep hill this way, and then you have to kind of walk, up the hill on the other side. So we went to the park, dropped the kids off on the playground stuff, and me and Carrie did some laps around the area. The kids overall did great. Nobody was screaming bloody murder while we were as far as away as possible, which was nice. That was our worry. Um, and so uh Carrie says, see how I did that? Convinced you to go on a walk. Yep. Yeah. So uh the uh it was good though. We've been talking about getting the dog out and wearing her out some because she's kind of young and she gets a little rambunctious. Overall, she's pretty good though. Um and really it was interesting because we did a lap and then we picked up one kid, and then we did a second lap, and I think we picked up all of the kids. This might have been the third lap. So first lap nobody, after the first lap we picked up a kid, and then the third lap everybody walked with us. And then they dropped off, and me and Carrie did 2 or 3 more laps around the park. We probably walked for 40 minutes total. I'm not wearing my running shoes, but I am wearing some shoes that I actually have them on today. They're Hey Dude shoes. So they're a little bit thicker soled than the barefoot shoes that I had been running or wearing day to day. And I kind of jogged a bit, nothing too fancy. One of the times we were going down this hill, I jogged down the hill, and then kind of as you make a right at that stop sign towards the last half of that block, I probably jogged that distance. It felt good. It felt different because I walk different than I used to. As weird as it is, I knew it was going to happen. I hoped it would happen sooner, but that's fine. I don't need that up. But when you wear regular tennis shoes, you kind of get used to walking a certain way, or and especially at 520 pounds, I lumbered more than walked. My feet really had a bad my feet have gone through a lot in the last year. I mean, they've gone through a lot in the last 39 years. This past year, the relief that I've given them has been amazing. And, I've never in my life at 520 pounds, I never had such pain in my legs as when I was losing the weight. And just everything going back to the way, uh, it's supposed to be, like all the bones were all swelled up and pushed and everything. And now, my feet are flexible and I can move them around and I don't get kind of, but anyways, I don't know. It ran different. It felt good. I'm landing more on my midfoot or the front of my foot, which is how you're supposed to run, at least especially in barefoot shoes. I was hoping that during the training of the triathlon, excuse me, I don't know what came through. But the training for the triathlon, I kind of hoped that I would pick up that running, or that I would run better in the barefoot shoes than I did, and it just didn't come along. And I think it's just a matter of time. That it was going to take time to happen. And now that I've worn those shoes pretty much 100% of the time outside of the last 2 days, for the last I don't know, 4 months now, 5 months, 4 or 5 months, um, that I have been wearing these barefoot shoes. I'm now running and striking different. It didn't hurt. I think that the shoes helped that though, because they're a little bit more cushioned than the barefoot shoes I've been wearing. So I might not have been able to run as much, or it might have hurt more to run in my normal shoes than the shoes I ran in yesterday. But it was good to go on a walk. Kids had a great time. It's funny, it's cool that they, help kind of to see them playing together and having a good time and not fighting with each other at the house. And it was great. About all I have for today. I talked about everything, right? Food, the book, going for a walk. Planning on going live tomorrow. I'm not weighing in until a week from next Monday. So I got 12 days, 12 days till I'm weighing in. That'll be my official 1 year weigh-in. My goal is really to just kind of get back down to that 310.2. Would be nice. I've been kind of at this weight for a while. My activity did go up a little bit with that walk, and I might start picking up more activity, but it is getting colder out as well. So we got to deal with that. Anyways, I think that's all I have today. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down on the bottom. Sure, if you're listening to me this long, absolutely would have already hit the subscribe button by now. Also, thumbs up the video, give me a like, and if you want to comment, that would be cool too. It helps with all of those analytics. Make sure that you turn on the click on the bell to turn on the notification so you get alerted when I go live, which is generally 4 p.m. on weekdays. I already said I'd be live tomorrow. Don't see why that would change. If you guys haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health. I know it's tough to get going and to do it, but it'll be the best choice you've ever made, especially when you succeed and you get to the weight you want to be at. And you can't succeed and you can't be at the weight that you want to be at until you get started. And even if getting started is, hey, I cut sugar out today, hey, I quit drinking soda today, that's a start. But and it's nobody ever gets to the end and says, man, I wish I would have started later. They always say, I wish I would have started sooner. And I'm going to say the same thing. I wish I would have started sooner too. And reach out on the Discord if you're struggling. Yeah, absolutely. There's a Discord down in the description below. That'll be active for 1 week. We also have a Pinterest that's in the description down below. A lot of our meals, things that we are enjoying on there. If you're trying to eat a whole food plant-based diet, those are kind of a good place to get some ideas, because that's really the tough part about switching to this diet is finding the foods that you like, or the foods that you'll be able to eat, or that you will eat. And so that's that can be found on that Pinterest. And yeah, I mean, and if you are struggling, yeah, definitely reach out, because it can be tough, especially when you get started. There's I've talked about it many times, just being lost, not knowing what to do, having the temptations around you and just avoiding those things. It's all tough. And Um, uh, it- but if you can get through that 2 weeks, you get a lot of motivation, you get a lot of pride in yourself, and you can get through a month, and then you can start really, hit the ground running. And it's but you got to get those first days in. So thanks guys again for checking out the stream. I'll be on tomorrow. You guys all have a great evening.